Where did this come from? Yeah, I like it.
Leave the place. Okay, excuse me.
A caustic visit before COVID. Everything you're going to see here today did not exist. This place was just like a typical bush. There were just two abandoned wells here. And we came in and built everything from scratch. And made all the investment to make all of this possible. And then we started producing oil in 2008. When we started producing oil, we were confronted with some challenges. What were those challenges? When you produce oil from here, for you to sell it, you have to transport it to Bonny. That is the point of export. The cost of transporting that oil from here to Bonny is about $5 per barrel. That's what it costs you. And then, as the oil is going, it is being stolen. Almost about 15% of that oil is stolen. And it's not just the impact of the theft. It's the fact that once they break the pipeline to steal the oil, you have to stop production. So you have to shut down everything here. So in a year, we will spend about 90 days, average of 90 days not producing oil because of the vandalization of the pipeline. So we then decided, look, what should be the long-term solution to this? And the long-term solution was saying, look, why don't we try to locate a refinery here? Okay, in addition to helping with the import substitution and focusing on energy security for the nation, we said, look, this will also help bring down the cost of our operation. So that's then the whole idea of a refinery started. So what we are doing now is really in support of government initiative. This is coming at the right time that government is deregulating the market. And we really support the government policy for this deregulation and removal of subsidy, because it then creates a market for what we are going to be doing, and it then facilitates our ability to raise financing for the next modules that we're going to be doing. So we strongly add our voice in support of government effort at deregulation.
Why don't we look inward? Produce the crude, refine it, and at the same time create jobs for Nigerians. What we have here today, Watersmith Refinery, it's a good example of reintegration of our resources. No longer are we going to have resources and we are going to be exporting them, but we are making good use of these resources, and in the process we are adding value to it. I'm glad we are here today blowing our trumpet. Yes, you may ask, what is trumpet we are blowing? We are blowing the trumpet because we have created the enabling environment for this project. Not only are we 30% investors, but as the chairman said, we're not the kind of investors that if we put money and we run away. No, we put money there and we put our mouth there. And we are helping this company to ensure that all necessary permits, all necessary regulations are obtained. So what we are doing today, we are celebrating not just Watersmith, we are celebrating the partnership between the NCDB and Watersmith. And of course, I'm proud that we have the governor with us here, we have the members of National Assembly with us, we have other people with us, because we can show Nigerians that while every government has been talking about a modular refinery, no government has succeeded in realizing the dream of modular refinery. I'm sure before many of you came here, you did not even know what a modular refinery is. What it means that this small refinery, you can add more and more to it until it becomes a big one. I think this has been, to me, an extremely successful trip, because it has shown that, yes, Nigeria is on the path to greatness. With this kind of investment, you are adding value to your crude, and at the same time, you are growing your GDP. Like the chairman, I think it was the MD that said that if you see, with this kind of refinery, the whole issue of subsidy becomes completely irrelevant, because we would be able to get fuel at a cheaper local price. Everything that is being done would not be for our own consumption. So it's easy to see that what we're talking about is it's kind of medium scale, industry in the downstream industry.
Yes, where is he now? Abdul. Make it evident to the woman. Let's know where you're leading us to. Where you?
Well, this is just one aspect. In terms of local content and partnership, we're into various partnership arrangements in growing local content. Walter Smith is just one of them. As we are aware, we're also in partnership with Isika Refinery, which is also supposed to produce 11,000 barrels per day of crude oil. We're also in partnership with DuPont, which is also looking at 2,000 barrels as well as 50 million scopes of gas production. We are also building industrial parks in order to incubate manufacturing, working with the Manufacturing Association of Nigeria. So Walter Smith is just one of them. We are into various aspects where we are growing local capacity as well as catalyzing the industrialization of the oil and gas sector, which is part of our vision. Not just refining that affects our economy. Like I said, there are other things that affects our economy. Manufacturing affects our economy, all in a bid to enhance employment generation as well as growing the GDP. Because when you look at the oil and gas value chain in its totality, we've not been able to tap even 5% of the value chain. So ours is, like we said, in terms of refining, in terms of the modular refinery space, we think that they should be able to refine about 10% of the nation's crude, which is quite substantial. And in terms of growing local content, we have set out a 10-year strategic roadmap. We're in the second year of it. And the plan is that in 2027, we should attain 70%. So when you then put all the pillars that you require to get to that 70%, they include a lot of activities, which means capacity building, which means manufacturing, which means human capacity building, and then creating the enabling environment for that to happen. So we have a very clear strategic plan of what we want to achieve. In terms of the refinery, you have the direct, indirect, and induced. Induced for instance, all those vehicles that will come and lift petroleum products here, you will also create employment through them. So you're looking at the end of the day, you could create about 2,000 jobs through this process.